and certain ties in those days was Paul Simon, remember? Not Paul Simon, but the senator from Illinois. I don't know, so it was kind of funny. You have to, not talk bad about people, but most people did just like they hit the floor laughing because they picked it up, yes.
To this day, that certain individual still quotes from that Bible before they quote from anything else.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Islamic movement, American strategies, 8210 MacArthur Boulevard, November 11th, 95. The reason I keep reading the address is because if we've been doing this in all these subjects for 35 years, do you think the police, if you got an arrest list this thick, and each page, I don't know, we're gonna say 10 arrests, actually there's 20 of them, and they don't know who owns the place and who preaches there, goes there, and you done had 500 demonstrations in front of the police department and other things. The role of Masjid in Islam, shoot, this is here. Imam Musa, Faisal Khan, and Wahajaj from Dar Hijra, and this is over at the Blackburn Center. And then right after that, our dear friend, the Negro Imam over there, closed it down. You can close down Blackburn Center, but we couldn't have no programs over there because we were misguided, although all the people on there are on the approved list. This is an approved list. The only thing that's not approved is us.
Right now, he's the Imam in Guyver.
He's somewhere. Where is he at, by the way?
Oh no, he's in Guyver.
Yeah. This is nice. Salute to Black History Month, February 28th. This was 1982. Man, we had the last poets out there. We had this just like they got a convention center here, we had this at the Oakland Auditorium. It was full because we got H. Rap Brown and we got the poets, and it should say free somewhere. It was free. No admission charge, free, free, free. Man, doors open at 2 o'clock. We didn't close to, I would say it was 10 o'clock at night. And there was a shop. See, you remember, we had the Sunnis from LA. This is the first, we're introducing the Sunnah to California. They don't, the chief ain't the Sunnah yet. They still, the chief was actually there. The chief came and everybody was milling around because we stopped the show and then we had Maghrib and Isha. And they were saying, that's when the chief was under a lot of heat in Chicago. He was staying in Oakland temporarily. And the brothers was saying whether they wanted him to pray or not, whether he could pray. But he brought the community. Man, it was, and people was calling the Adhan, all the Negroes from as far, the Oakland Auditorium was full. It was the biggest show they ever had from then to now related to Muslims. And then that was a balcony and they had all Iranians and Arabs and everybody was sitting up there, the sisters. And the Negroes came in. Man, look at them Muslims up there. They white, you know how Iranians look. They got white Muslims, man. They real Muslims. Look at them. And them white girls up there are Muslims. I say, yes, they're Muslims. That's right. You can believe that. So, this was nice though. The last poets was there and they threw down. They threw down. They was talking about gins and armed gendarme, you know, in French, armed gin. You know how they can mix stuff up. And the people went crazy. And, I mean, it was late. Imam Jamil was one of the last speakers. And we just had a good time. I think I told him the story about who was the guy in the boat, down in the boat, and the captain came to him and said, "What meanest thou, O sleeper, Jonah?" And I told that to him, and man, the people liked it. And then all the little petty politicians was trying to be friends with us and say, anybody can draw a crowd like that. The point I'm making is, do you think the Oakland police know who belongs to what Masjid? Okay, this is just quick stuff. Islamic Revolution, This must have been at UC Berkeley. I would say, Hujjatul Islam Zaki Suwaid, member of Supreme Assembly of Islamic Revolution in Iraq, and said, these are the days that all the 8th anniversary of the revolution would make it the 79, 86. This would be 86. But you member of Syria, Supreme Assembly of Islamic Revolution in Iraq, Muhammad Bagher Hakim's crew and all that. So that's why all the people that jumped big, we there with them because they was all in isolation. You know, and drugs and their effects on the community. I like this one. Seems to be, I just must have just run across a lot of 86 stuff. I think y'all seen this one before. Drugs and their effects on the individual. Number 2, on family and friends, on community, drugs and the means of exploitation and control of the black community. Who's the real victim? What we can and should do to save ourselves and our family from the deadly destructive element that goes on and on. So we're giving personal experience. It don't sound like what the lady from Oakland said, that I had a deal with the police, because I think I have one of the flyers here is real specific. Let me see if I can find one of those. Because when I brought that flyer out there a few years, man, maybe 10 years ago now, the time goes so fast, I popped up with that flyer talking about, it wasn't one letter to the, open letter to the people of Oakland. Yeah, it was open letter to the people of Oakland, where we talk about who's dealing drugs. The United States is the greatest drug dealer of all time and stuff like that. Hey man, I showed that to Mukhtar. I came in, I think, on a Wednesday evening, and right off the highway, I stopped by the Masjid, then I showed him the flyer, I went home to go to sleep. I've been on the highway for 2-3 days. I got up in the morning, and the police was in front of the house and took me to jail, because I blamed them for, and then, see, when I blame them, what make it pitiful is that I can give facts and figures. Like the FBI come to the masjid only one time, they said, I was told I would holler at them, get on out of here, what's wrong with you, cut it here. They walked outside, we just want to ask you, in case Rafsan Johnny said something. I said, I'm not going to go to the penitentiary. Can nobody call here and tell me to do nothing? What are you talking about? And then I told him, I said, y'all dealing all the dope. Anyway, no, that's not true because of such and such. I said, what about this, what about that? Well, some people are, I said, that's right. You don't come around me telling me that story about y'all all innocent and don't know nothing. Anyway, I'll get to that flyer later. I just didn't organize this, but honoring our martyrs and leaders, past and present. Man, this is 18 years ago. No, 8 years ago, 2010. Good God Almighty. Time be rolling. I have not seen any program at all with Imam Lukman. Has it? Did anybody see? I didn't see anybody raise money. And when we start raising money, his poor wife called and said, my husband doesn't even have a gravestone. I said, well, how much you need for it? I sent it to her right away. I said, then we're going to get you a little bit more, don't worry. And then the FBI kicked her out. And she would call me from, she got married again, I imagine, because I could hear a male voice in the background. Sounded too old for a son. Sent him back to Dar es Salaam, to Tanzania. So I told her, don't worry, we'll hook something up for you. Every time we tell somebody that on the phone, the next day or within 2 days, I get a fine or something, or go to jail, anything, to try to make sure we can't help nobody. Forgotten Hero, same thing about the Imam Jamil. How many people, how many programs did you see about Imam Jamil? Think about it. From his community, fundraising, Juma and dinner for the family, this is here you go, for the family of Imam Lukman. And they just, something happened to a brother, they just keep right on going. This is not the one, but it's similar. Letter of introduction to DC area churches. And down here we have the same thing, the war on drugs is actually a war on black people characterized by the following aims: taking away constitutional rights and guarantees, destroying the family and community in which they have been 100% effective, turning urban centers into police states. In other words, if there's a lot of crime, they call it a high crime area, and they reduce the constitutional guarantees about searches and seizures and what have you, criminalizing the whole black and Latino community, war against Islam, the Muslim threat, all of that. Well, that wasn't in it. This was here. This was here. Open letter to the DC police. We must have had a deal with them too, because we told them that you ought to have a sex change and hormonal therapy. Yeah. So that's what everybody get a deal with the police. They get to talk about them like that. So yeah, basically saying, you mess with me, I'm gonna kick you behind. Here's what it says. We believe in nonviolent transformation of our society. That is evolution over revolution. You police ought to get on the right side of history for a change. If you want to talk to me, just come on by. Don't pick on defenseless sisters. In simple terms, don't act like punk ass, excuse me, FBI. Be men. If you're going to act like girls, then get a legal sex change along with hormonal therapy. That's a letter to the police. Remember when they arrested me down there, and Sister Bahia and the big-headed woman was down there? Had the police come pick me up. Well, I knew when they called, but I was going to jail, that's how I didn't have nothing with me. Anyway, that's here. Now these are passed out on behalf of the forgotten in our ummah. This is on behalf of all the brothers. They done paintball the brothers. You know how they done did people, man. And just sent them to prison for nothing. Same man at the time. Ramadan appeal. da-da-da-da-da. Our case, da-da-da-da. This is on this side. Repumped the FBI along with our Declaration of Independence. I'll just give a little historical background and I'll wrap it up in a minute. We got Nadal Hassan, then we got Obama there, positioned as the Afro-Zionist, first Afro-Zionist president, also known as Bush III, also known as Judas Goat. Y'all know what a Judas Goat is?
Yeah.
A Judas Goat, yeah, they put a goat in the other, with the other goats, and this goat is trained to lead the other goats through the pen to get slaughtered. They have a trap door so the Judas goat can go out of, but he done brought up, instead of going, if the goats is all out there grazing around, minding their own business, you can't go out there and catch them all yourself, right? So you send the Judas goat in. He goes and rounds up everybody and bring them back into the pen. And then he'd been trained to go through a trap door. And the other goats is there just led to the slaughter.
Don't forget, Mr. Obama is the one that droned Anwar al-Awlaki and killed his 16-year-old son that had nothing to do with it. They don't never talk about Obama with that.
Unbelievable.
16-year-old boy killed him for nothing.
And cousin. And his cousin.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, actually, you know.
Kids, they had nothing to do with nothing, just blew him away.
Well, you know, that California crew, when he was around here over there at Darl Hitcher with us, he didn't have that kind of trouble. But when he went out there to California, Abdul Malik and all them people surrounded him, set him up. He didn't say nothing extraordinary. Just talking about Quranic, regular Quranic values, Quranic ayats. Da-da-da-da. Triangle of Terror. This is at Masjid al-Islam in April 2013, AU10 MacArthur Boulevard. You know, if we wasn't on the Zionist list from the big Zionist list, Abe Foxman Zionist list, look, they had two police. One run off to the Philippines. Gerard was one of his names. He had FBI clearance. So he downloaded all of the information FBI, he had FBI clearance. And all the groups and movements all over the United States in those days was on his list. You know who was on page number 1? Masjid al-Islam, Oakland. Yeah.
He was there.
Okay. What happened was the police, we've been on there since day one. I could tell by the way we were ordered. But Gerard, the case came up, this came out because of a case in the court in San Francisco where they got hold to, here's what Gerard was doing. Gerard was getting all FBI information and giving it to, what's Abe Foxman there? ADL. That's against the law. That case was in the court in about 1990. The list was, we've been on the list. So if we're on the top of the list and we've been having all these programs all these years, you think in 2017 that they would, and 13, 2014 and 15, that they would have to arrest me because they don't know that I belong there? That's really something. Decline and fall of American Empire. That one was here, but we had one out there too. From baby nation to global giant. That was 2012. But we're telling them again that, well, speech in the early years about Iran was a baby nation because a baby, when it's newborn, it don't have time to, it hasn't been, we was talking about the Islamic system in Iran, it had not been tried and tuned, and it was brand new. It was like a baby nation. I gave that on the 7th anniversary of the revolution, or the 6th. I gave it in various speeches, but the ambassador to the Islamic Republic heard it, and from then on, when he gave his speech, that's what he was talking about. It's a baby nation. But it was good. To global giant. It wasn't super clear in 2012, which is 6 years ago. Time be rolling. I mean, it'd be, it'd be rolling. But it's clear where the Islamic Republic is now, building a dream. This one was 8210 MacArthur Boulevard. What I'm saying is, 8210 MacArthur Boulevard, all these programs, and nobody knows anything about who belongs at Masjid al-Islam. So, the point is that this is the anniversary of the revolution. Well, I took this thing here, this is only a piece of it. After they kicked in the door, you can see I wrote this stuff right away, and the next morning, when they arrested me on this 2nd, I got out that morning and I went right to the police department, and I just made this up right away. And because they arrested me for trespassing. So I have the deed on the other side. The deed says, Masjid al-Islam, a California non-profit corporation. That's the name of it. But it says, Mr. Clarence Ream, 1638 5th Avenue, and the guy paying the tax that time is $55. And my signature is on the deed, Clarence Reams. So if I tell the police, here's the deed, that it's not in my name, but everything's signed for this boy. I'm doing the signing. Yeah, here's what they charged me. They charged me refuse to go on request of owner. The owner.